Marquisha, I know she's sitting right next to you, but just talk about Makayla and her leadership and just what she provides on the floor for you guys.
I think she has great leadership and she leads the floor well, and she knows how to make the right reads and passes. And she's just a great teammate.
Guys, today I'm so excited and pleased to welcome our next guest on the show. She's a culture queen, having traveled all over the world at a young age, was Miss Basketball of Maryland during her time at Frederick's High, and dropped 47 points in the state championship game. Started all 28 games during the last season for Arkansas. Please welcome Razorback point guard Makayla Daniels. So Makayla, I wanted to start it off by asking, 47 points in a championship game. That is crazy. What was that like?
Definitely a surreal feeling. Didn't know during the game I had that many points. I think we were up by enough for the starters to come out and, let the bench get some playing time. And one of the assistant coaches, she kept saying 47, and I blew it off. I didn't know what she was talking about. I kind of just laughed. And then she was like, no, 47. And she pointed up to the scoreboard, and I had 47 points. And I was like, is that a mistake? I think maybe in that game I broke my coach's record. She played at my high school, so I think I may have broke her record. It was definitely surreal, and for it to be the state championship and know that I helped my team win that, it meant a lot. And if we would have lost the game, I wouldn't have cared about those 47 points at all.
That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit, I mentioned how you moved all over the world, kind of at a young age. Can you tell us a little bit about your family?
Mm-hmm. So both of my parents were in the Army. I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Then we moved to Arizona. And by the time I was through, moving to Japan. Mm-hmm. Stayed there until I was about 10 and then ended up in Maryland. So some people say they don't like being military brats, but for me, it was enjoyable. I moved around a lot, got to experience different cultures. So I loved it, but I know not everyone can say the same.
I mean, but that's still an amazing experience. Do you have a favorite place that you visited?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite, but every summer we were going on to another country for vacation. I mean, Italy, Guam, been to China. I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I really like experiencing everything.
What do you think you gained from having parents in the military?
A lot of discipline. A lot of discipline. When there's certain decisions to be made, you're a college student, you just want to have fun and do what you want to do. But then it's my parents are always in the back of my head. They're not saying it, but I know they're thinking it. Just to make the right decision. I mean, certain decisions have consequences, and I've learned that at a young age, that just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean that you have to be doing it. Whether that's something good or bad, stay in your lane and do what, you think is right. Don't do it because others think it's right.
You're the youngest of 4 siblings.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what it was like growing up as the youngest?
Very competitive. 2 of my siblings played basketball. I was able to play with my sister while she was in high school. I was maybe still in elementary school. Some of the coaches would let me come up there and practice, but that didn't really last long. And I'm sure some of those practices wouldn't end very well, if her little sister was beating her in front of her teammates. But no, it was competitive. It was fun. I mean, always having someone to, go play outside with, go play whatever sport, we were feeling that day. But it was definitely fun.
Now, you're not necessarily a sneakerhead per se,
Mm-hmm.
but you do enjoy a good shoe.
Yes.
Could you hit me with, if you're going to play a game, what shoe you'd wear? And if you're going out, what shoe you'd wear?
For games, definitely Kyrie's. I just like my Kyrie's. And then LeBron's are a little too heavy for me. I've never had a bad Kyrie, no matter what number it was. That I love his shoes.
Except for maybe the new Kyrie.
I haven't tried the new Kyrie. So I'm excited to try it, and I hope we get them this year. But, we never know. But if we do, I'll probably still definitely wear them.
Really?
If they're ugly, I probably will have them on my feet.
Okay.
And then for going out, 4s are my favorite, and I really want more of them. And probably in the last 2 years, I've started to like notice, like I buy a lot of 4s over like other Jordans. And so I would say 4s are my go-to.
So on your free time, you mentioned you like to watch documentaries. Are there any that stick out in your memory as like a favorite?
I really like the Bad Boys documentary.
And we're starting to see the bang bang stuff. See, goes baseline, goes underneath. Dishes off now to her.
I don't know why I like it, but it's just crazy to me to see like how the NBA used to be and how much it's changed now. So I thought that one was really interesting. And I just watched, is it Malice in the Palace? That big fight.
Malice in the Palace. Yeah, that's
Malice in the Palace.
That night had a lasting effect. It ignited everything.
I just watched that one and I had no clue about that one. So that one looked good. And I'm definitely into like the serial killer, like documentaries. They scare me, but like I keep watching them. So I don't really understand why I keep watching them, but it's crazy to me that type of stuff can happen in this world.
So let's talk a little bit about your game, your studies, moving towards the future. You're studying sports management, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So kind of what are your goals with that moving forward?
I definitely want to stay in sports. I don't know exactly what I want to do yet. Like, I could see myself like owning my own facility. I could also see myself working on a staff like in a college for athletics. I mean, I don't think I directly want to be coaching because I don't have that type of personality, or the patience, but I definitely, want to stay with sports. I would go play overseas if I had that opportunity, just to, be able to say that I experienced that in my life. So really open to anything, but I have some interest.
What are some topics that are very important to you?
Girls in sports. I think that's so important, especially now. I feel like it's kind of on the rise. More people are talking about it. More people are watching women in sports. So that's something that's important to me because growing up, I had to travel to go play for a somewhat decent girls team. Even before that, I was playing on an all boys team. I don't want like every girl to have to do that in order to play with the best. So I think just having a facility that promotes girls in sports and like welcomes them is just important. I also want to welcome boys, but I mean, boys, they love sports. So it's no problem for them most of the time.
You have plenty of opportunities to play sports.
Yeah.
So Makayla, you just kind of talked a little bit about offering more opportunities and fair opportunities for women in sports. I wanted to talk a little bit about what do you think is a pressing issue or maybe misunderstanding about people of color in sports?
I just think Black athletes have like a certain image to uphold when they're on a college team. They have to worry about what their fans think, what their school thinks, what their coaches think, just what random people who see them walking on the street think. I think it has a lot to do with privilege. If you don't see the problems, you don't see what other people go through, you don't think it's an issue. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying like, I think some people don't realize their privilege. Like I've talked to some of my friends who are white and like, they've never had this conversation in their household. Like some of the conversation I've had with my parents, they've never had. And it's like, cause that's not a problem. It's definitely hard to, manage, but I think a lot of Black athletes do an amazing job of, keeping it together. And I don't think that they should have to, but it's the world we live in.
It's almost like people are waiting for Black athletes to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's any way to educate people more about what really privilege is, how to understand it, and how to address it?
I don't know if there's like a certain thing. It's just I think it's more about having hard conversations, and all the time, some people don't want to have those hard conversations.
Absolutely. So I think everything we're talking about is really important. And I really hope people will listen and start to have these tough conversations like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Before we kind of sign off here, is there anything you want to plug, anything going on in your life or the team's life that you want to share?
No, I just want to, let everyone know, come watch some Razorback women's basketball team games. I think we're very entertaining, and I think you come to a game, you'll want to come to more. So come support us. We got a big year coming up.
I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you.